I was thinking out here about everything that's happened and how to tell you. And it's pretty obvious that I have to go through absolutely everything I remember. Giving you just the facts would probably do more harm than good. And you'd be asking questions until tomorrow anyway. Honestly, I want you to know everything so that you can put yourself in your shoes and understand why things went the way they did. I want you to be proud of me and of yourself and what you're capable of. So yeah, this is totally going to take a while. You ready?
Chloe's been dead for 5 months today. I need to go back. I've tried 100 times by now, but my powers are gone. I've tried to get them back, but nothing works. Maybe this will. I know it's desperate, but it's all I've left to try. Life or death.
Down below. How can I tell you that sometimes there's just no way, even time? Can I tell you that sometimes there's just no way, no way, no way? No reason to be sorry once again, 'cause things will come and go, but ashes will remain to tell the story. How can I tell you that sometimes there's just no way, even time? Can I tell you that sometimes there's just no way, no way, no way? No way. Tell me, how can I tell you that sometimes there's just no way, even time? Can I tell you that sometimes there's just no way, no way, no way?
All right, so you pull out your journal and show me the message you left us. I'm like, well, fuck. You are so intense, staring into my eyes like I just tried to stab you. You take my hand and put it over your heart, and you tell me, I'm not ever leaving you. It hit me so hard, made me break down and cry like a bitch. I mean, just bawling my eyes out on your shoulder. We said some stuff like that to each other before, but it meant everything at that moment. I didn't realize it at the time, but that's when it kind of clicked in my head. I hadn't let myself believe it until then. Come on, you have to ask. The way you loved me, Einstein, the fact that I loved you, and you actually loved me back. It was horrible timing, with a huge magic tornado coming to destroy the town, but it was real all the same. It stuck with me and and got me through everything that came after. Are you serious? I talked you into an intimate midnight swim. I casually got you to sleep in my bed. I dared you to kiss me. Did you need me to draw you a map to the landing strip or something? Stick a post-it note to my forehead saying, yes, I would like some romance with you now, please. Yeah, you did. And I freaked out, okay? Give me a break. I didn't think you'd actually do it. And I was such a mess over Rachel. It suddenly felt like I was cheating. Whatever the hell that meant with her anyways. To this day, I don't know if she even liked me that way. Well, you have no idea what it was like in my head. Then the moment you jumped into my truck and we started talking, I was like, yep, same old Max, I'm screwed. I was crushing on you pretty hard when I was 14. Of course, you didn't know. You were fucking oblivious as usual. Go figure. To be fair, I wasn't like in love or whatever. Just, a sexually confused teen getting weird thoughts about her best friend. You'd have freaked big time if I'd ever mention it. And then you left and came back. I was angry about everything. No, forget it. How do we even end up talking about this? This isn't a conversation. You're supposed to just listen. That's right. I'm the boss now. Shut your face already. So, we're by the lighthouse, hugging and crying and all that mushy shit. And you turn around and tear up the photo. Like, fuck you, Storm. This is what's happening. We watch it flutter away into the wind, standing there, knowing there was no going back. It's so surreal, seeing that huge tornado tear the town. It makes a straight line for Blackwell, like on purpose, like it's on a mission from hell to raze the place to the ground. The Two Whales isn't exactly on its direct path, but there's black smoke coming out of it. There was an explosion, you told me later. At least it was quick. Thanks. I know. I'm okay. It's all right. Don't worry. Anyway, we're like in a trance, forcing ourselves to watch. It's insane. It's a nightmare. We probably shouldn't have watched, but now I'm glad that we did. Because it gets to Blackwell and actually stops there. Like it's a wall. Over 10 minutes, it swallows the school brick by brick, spitting pieces over miles all around town. And then the storm simply dies, sudden as it started. I think that was the most surreal part. One moment it's a violent monster on a rampage, the next it's dissolving into nothing. Lightning stops, the funnel cuts off and comes apart, the storm clouds thin out and fucking vanish. It's barely 5 minutes later and we're standing in the sun, staring at this huge scar straight in the middle of Arcadia Bay. I know, that was no natural disaster. It came for Blackwell, fucked it up, and then just left. Just like you. Am I right? You're welcome. So, you're kind of numb at this point, staring at the mess. I remember standing there with you, looking down at the destruction and feeling drained. And then I look at you, and the way you're taking it, and it's so heartbreaking. At that moment, all I can think about is you. I have to keep you safe now. I have to get you through it. If I can at least do that, maybe I'm not so fucking worthless. No, I know. I'm not saying that it was right. It's just the way I felt at the time. We're soaked and shivering. So I start pulling you away, try to get you in my truck so we can warm up. Actually, maybe we can skip the whole tornado aftermath part. It's just nonstop miserable shit until I literally drag you away from the rubble and drive us out of there. I mean, you didn't even notice how much your hands were bleeding. I don't ever want to see you like that again. It was just... it was... Sorry. I'm sorry. I'll be fine. It's just rough memories. I'm so glad you don't remember this shit anymore. All right, so we drive off. Going forward, it doesn't matter where. I want to talk to you so bad, but I have no idea what to say. I don't think there was anything we could say at the time. Your hands are pretty fucked up, so I just focus on that. I zombie into a gas station, get some food, bandages, supplies for whatever the hell we're going to do. I realize right there that all we got are the clothes on our backs. But at least we're good with money. Handicap fund my ass. That wad of cash in Wells' office was so shady. Really? No. You gave me some shit about it, but let me take it anyway. That's weird. Wonder what else is different. So, anyway, I get back to you and work on cleaning and bandaging your hands. Turns out to be just a few bleeders, nothing serious. Is it weird that I remember every single second of that? Standing there by the passenger seat, wiping the blood clean, looking through every inch of your hands, peeling band-aids open, wrapping gauze around your palms. The way you were just looking at me the whole time. Shrink would say that there was some therapy in there somewhere. It must have done something because you finally start crying like a normal person. We just hug it out for a while. You keep saying you're sorry, and I keep telling you I totally get it. That it's such fucking bullshit. That no one should have to go through something this awful. By now, our phones are going off nonstop. I find out about David. You have me text your parents back, and we finally start talking. Grim shit. Like death toll and survivors, and how long it will take to get help there. But at least we're talking. Eventually, we get to the big mystery. What the hell do we do now? You don't want to run to your parents. And I don't want to go back. No way. California and Portland and all the stupid road trip daydreams we had feel dumb and childish too. It kind of sinks in right then. Our lives are completely trashed. Not talking about our stuff or whatever, I'm saying down to our identities. You know? We're not the same people now. You understand what I mean, right? Yeah, so we just roam until we find some grubby roadside motel to crash. The first night is actually the least bad. We're both so drained that we pass out on the bed like we're shit-faced. Dirty clothes and all. It's the early morning and that's awful, lying there awake, huddled together, thinking about how all the people are gone. At some point, we start saying names out loud and going yes or no, or probably. Now it feels so weird and morbid that we did that, but it somehow made sense at the time. Don't ask me why. No, I want to tell you. I want you to know how we work through it. You should know these things. We just hang around the place for the day, sitting outside, sorting out all the crap in our heads. We talk to each other, no filter at all, just trying to find out exactly how we feel. I mentioned this earlier, right? Yeah, well, it isn't all grim, dark bullshit. We get through the guilt and regrets, and we finally talk about, us. About where we stand, and what we want this to be. It's like you don't give a crap about feeling embarrassed or exposed or whatever. You tell me the only thing you regret is not reaching out to me all those years. You do everything else all over again in a heartbeat. You tell me how I'm the fucking world to you. And that despite everything, I'm still the best that ever happened in your life. And how you feel the best version of yourself is when I'm there. Big surprise. You're making me all weepy again. So, that's when I tell you flat out I am mad in love with you. It seems so obvious to me, like, of course. She already knows this, but you look so relieved. You give me the sweetest smile and whoa. Hey, hi there. Yes, cuddling in bed. I approve. About time you... I love you too, Max. Fuck. Way to go. Look what you did. I was trying not to get emotional here. You've turned me into such a pitiful sap. It's so pathetic. Start tickling me, and you're dead. Just saying. I can take you down, bitch. Don't try me. Damn straight. I am the boss of you. This cuddling is only happening because I allow it. Can we please get back to the Chronicles of Misery now? Thanks. So, we keep talking about love and all that garbage. And the more we talk, the less awful everything feels. I mean, it doesn't go away, but it gets bearable. We don't do anything other than hold hands because we're not there yet. We both feel it. We want it, and that's good enough. You even let out the cutest giggle when I tell you I'm crazy about your freckles. Yeah, just like that. Of course it's true. Are you kidding me? You're super pretty, Max. Come on. Don't go fishing for compliments, it's beneath you. Whatever you say. So, we finally decide to go to your parents. Or I guess I kinda talk you into it. It makes sense. And they've been so desperate, leaving messages on your phone. You call and it's tears all over again. They'll totally take me in. How dare we even question it? It's an 8-hour trip without stops and probably 10 in my old rusty death trap. So we plan to take off the next morning. The night in between isn't that great. We lie in bed talking until we can't stay awake anymore. We're afraid to try and sleep because then we'll be alone in silence. Your words. And well, you know, all about night terrors, don't you? I don't need to explain a damn thing. They start and they rarely go away. I have it rough too, but nothing like you. I mean, I lost Rachel to a psycho, and my mom to a storm. But you watched people die. You got fucking tortured by that sick asshole. Shit, man. I asked you to overdose my cripple ass to death. How fucked up is that? And I haven't even started with what happened since then. Sometimes I wonder how you're even lucid with all this garbage in your head. You're tough shit, Max. Don't you doubt it for a second. So we get going and you turn on the radio, scanning for news about Arcadia. I tell you it's probably a bad idea, but you're not listening. It's as if you want to punish yourself for something. You want it to hurt. I get where you're coming from, because, you know, self-destructive behavior after a tragedy sure sounds familiar. But there's something else too. You've been different the whole morning, like you're not actually all the way there. Sure enough, the freak tornado is all over the news. Biggest ever in recorded human history, they claim. They're spouting death counts and going on and on about the devastation. Do you want to know? The final numbers, I mean. Pretty sure you do. But, alright, 216 dead. When it's all over. Over 600 injured. At least most survived, right? Look, I know it's a small comfort, but they're recovering. And we've helped. We really have. All the money that we've thrown into that place will come back better than it was. You want to know the best part? We're sticking a thumb in Prescott's eye and his precious Pan estates. With all the cash and supplies pouring in to rebuild, no one's moving into those overpriced shitboxes. No, we work through a stupid amount of proxies. I'll show you the system sometime. We've got good people on our side. The fuckwads have no idea it's us. As far as we know, anyway. By the way, did you look at your driver's license yet? I love the name. Seriously. It's one of many. That's your main, so to speak. No one knows the mysterious Lauren Frost, working from the shadows for the good of mankind. I can always tell you get the biggest geek boner when we talk about it. My license? Elizabeth Deckard. Yes, Elizabeth, whatever. Don't laugh. It's my frickin' middle name. It just happens to be the same as... Fuck's sake, it's impossible to stick to a damn story with you. I did no such thing. It's all you getting us sidetracked. Be quiet. Now we're getting to the part where shit really hits the fan. So... You're listening to all this awful stuff, and it doesn't take a shrink to see that you're not doing well. I try to explain how this isn't helping right now, but there's no talking to you. You literally tell me to shut the fuck up and let you listen. You're not, like, angry, just hurting. I throw my hands up in the air, and I tell you to do whatever you want to do. And that's about it for the next couple hours. Around noon, I can't take it anymore, and I turn off the damn radio. I try to talk to you again, but you're in one-worded response mode. See, I don't know it then, but this is one of your patented Max Caulfield signature bad days. It's only made worse by all the disaster stories. Basically clamp down and doze off and on. I shake you awake whenever you stop whimpering. Fun trip all around. You say it like I'm the battered wife or something. This is isn't me taking abuse for no reason. It's me understanding that it's a fucking mess inside your head. Hey, what can I say? Truth hurts. Don't think I'm all sugar and rainbows all the time, believe me. We've raged at each other, sometimes for the dumbest things. I don't know, my mess. You using my goddamn toothbrush whenever you feel like it, as if you're like 12. Seriously, if I go brush my teeth and I find it's all wet and nasty again, I'm gonna lose my shit. Okay, you've been warned. Seriously though, we cut each other a ton of slack, but we get angry sometimes. We're still people, it happens. In a way, it feels good, kind of, because we know we're gonna stick together no matter what. So, bring on the shouting. Let it all out, who cares? We'll solve the problem one way or another. Am I making any sense here? Fuck, whatever. Makeup sex is out of this world, so there's that. Anyway, between food and gas stops, and breaks for my sore butt, we get there close to nightfall. You already said you're sorry, and you're even telling me a bit about living in Seattle. So we take a break by this nice view of the skyline, with the sun setting just right. I take your camera and talk to you into posing for a selfie with me. See how it turns out if I take it? I just want to cheer you up so bad. Little did I know, I was saving our lives. The moment the camera clicks, you vanish from my side. There's this after image of you instantly going to the truck and back. And right away, you pop in front of me. Your old journal is in your hands and your face. God, I won't ever forget your face in that moment. You're a totally different person. Hella intense and hyper aware of everything around you. Fuck. Did I just say hella? God damn it, Caulfield. Anyway, you're shoving the journal into my chest, grabbing my arm, and you tell me to get the fuck out of Seattle. Like yesterday. Or your parents will get killed and will get taken. It was 13 days until you could get to this photo and have a chance to warn us. You wrote details and instructions in the journal. But we have to go right now. Literally, you're pushing me until I'm behind the wheel. And then you climb into the passenger seat and tell me to take the first exit. Go east. Don't stop moving. Don't leave our names anywhere. Turn off our phones. Ditch the truck soon. And don't use cards of any kind. For fuck's sake, convince you to learn your powers again because you need them sooner or later. Nothing makes sense. But I know better than to question this kind of thing by now, so I start the engine and get going. I take my hand and kiss it like your life depends on it. Which just might. And say, I'll see you in 2 weeks. Please take care of us. I love you forever. And you tell me. And then future you is gone. Holy shit is right. By the way, before I forget, don't you ever prank me with this stuff. I mean it. When you change right after a picture, I need to be able to trust what you say completely. If you cry wolf for shits and giggles, even once, you're killing that trust. I won't be laughing, and you'll have a real problem with me. Are we clear on that? Oh, and I know you've thought about it. You're twisted like that. We had a hell of a fight about this because you went and did it. I've never been angrier at you. You made me feel like shit too, because you really were trying to have fun and didn't realize how much I'd hate it. So promise me right now you won't ever do it. All right, good. Argument avoided. Isn't time travel great? Well, I have to be stern with you sometimes. It's all part of retraining process. So, back to shitland. Future you is gone. Present you has no idea what the hell she's doing back in my truck. So you have a tiny panic attack, thinking you rewound by accident or you're losing your mind or something. I try to explain as best as I can, and then tell you to open the journal and read whatever message you left for yourself. Turns out there's like 10 pages of really, really pissed off rambling about one Mr. Sean Prescott. A lot of it crossed out, like you started over several times because you couldn't let all the anger out of your system. The short of it is, the man knows that you can reverse time and wants you as a minion. He was personally waiting for you at your parents' place. First, he offered you a job, which you obviously refused because you're not the kind of asshole man he is. Things got real out of hand fast. We got grabbed. Your parents got killed without a fucking second thought, and he tortured me until you agreed to work with him. He employs other people with weird abilities, and he might even have some powers of his own. We're not sure yet. I know. came across as a shock then too. But this doesn't make any sense that you wouldn't be the only freak of nature out there. I'm sorry, Spirit touched. That's why he called you. You said he seems to know way more about it than us, but he wasn't precisely answering questions. I have no idea. Our best guess is that he saw you hopping around the dark room surveillance and put the pieces together. He was waiting for you to flee to your parents, Max. He was prepared. He must have known about you before the storm hit, and we're pretty sure he knew about the storm itself. Remember the emails and notes we found? Yeah. He either knew the signs, or this guy has an oracle of his own. He used you to make boatloads of easy money in the short term, but he also put you through some kind of nightmarish training regimen, grooming you for some other shit that you never got to do before escaping. He'd give you some kind of drug to stop you from rewinding when he didn't want you to, but could still photo jump, and that's how he got out. We're pretty sure he still doesn't know you can do that. So in your journal, you tell us to send a text to your dad, saying we're not ready to go back yet, but we turn toward Portland. Chloe had some money saved, and you know a friend there, don't worry, blah, blah, blah. And then you say to shut off your phones completely because he can track them. It's full-on tinfoil hat stuff, but you scare the shit out of me, so we do most of it. Dye your hair, get new clothes, make glasses, the works. It is with great sorrows that I leave my sweet, sweet junk heap in the underground parking lot in Bellevue. You say to get a new car by any means necessary in your rant, but we settle for bus tickets in the next town over because we're not irredeemable criminals yet. There is one thing you definitely won't budge on. You are never reaching for the rewind ever again. I honestly don't blame you. The truth is, I did a piss-poor job at trying to convince you at all. After everything that you had to go through, I didn't want you to do it either. We figured if we do everything else she told us to do and stay on the move, that'll be enough. This guy can't have eyes everywhere in the freaking country. Well, guess what? We find out later that he doesn't need eyes everywhere for all this. All he needs is to have the right kind of spirit touched on payroll. We probably would have stayed ahead if they hadn't found my truck. But after all, it's real hard to hide from someone that can see their prey's path like a trail of Christmas lights. Helen Blair, exalted ever-chosen of the Wolf's Corn. She's fucking insufferable, but she's unofficially playing on our team right now. We'll get to that. Bottom line is, Prescott's private security outfit stormed our crap-ass Spokane motel room in the morning of the 4th day after the storm. That's the day when I first saw what you're really capable of. It's a couple hours before dawn and I'm laying there, half awake, already fretting over how the fuck we can get out of this mess. There's a random thump outside. One moment, you're curled up against me, and the next you're standing over me, fully dressed, shaking me awake with one hand over my mouth. And you're just heaving, out of breath like you've been running nonstop, ready to collapse. Your fingers smell weird. This really pungent, metallic smell. You tell me I need to do exactly as you say. You tell me you've redone the whole thing too many times to count, and you're nearly wiped out. So if we don't get it right this time, we're both fucked. And then you shove a gun into my hands. I remember every word you say next, panting like crazy. It's like they got branded into my brain. Like you said them to me 100 times. Get up quietly. Put your shoes on. Run for the door when I yell. Turn left outside. Immediately shoot the man straight ahead. Don't fucking miss. Brace for the recoil. Don't stop shooting until he's down. Jump over him, jump the rail, jump into the alley next to you. Then run straight and I'll find you. Don't fuck up, Chloe. I can't do this without you. I'm just looking at your silhouette in the darkness, trying to wake up, trying to make sense of what the hell is going on. You move closer to the window, into the light from the street lamps. And that's how I notice all of the blood all over your face running down your chin. You spit out some as I'm looking at you. There's a wound on your shoulder, and your left arm is covered in red. You've got a gun of your own, sticking out of your coat pocket. And in the moment of clarity, I understand. You got these weapons from whoever is about to attack us. I am seriously not shitting you, Max. This is what really happened. Here, give me your hand. Feel over here. You see, you feel the scar? Yeah, I know, it's still tender. I dug out a glass shard the size of my thumb from there. So yeah, you look back at me, and you're all like, shoes, Chloe, move. Real quiet and urgent. A once, I'm glad these motel beds are so gross that we sleep mostly dressed on top of the sheets. You're working to catch your breath still, staring out the window with your hand raised like someone's about to fly in. And that's exactly what happens. Much later, you tell me there's tear gas. I don't even get a chance to see it at the time. The window starts to crack open. The next moment, you're there, tossing what came back inside. That's when you tell me to run. I take off, and everything happens insanely fast. The door crashes open and you pop in front of it, aiming the gun at the man's head, pulling the trigger with no hesitation. It's loud as hell, and the guy goes down like a chunk of lead. Nearly at the same time, the window explodes into the room, and in a blink of an eye, you're right there, firing at whoever's coming in. While that happens, this woman is barreling through the doorway behind his buddy, pointing her taser straight at me. One blink later, and you're next to me with your hand raised. I swear, I see the fucking prongs in my face. It never actually happens. Instead, what I see is you next to her, pushing her weapon to the side, pressing the muzzle of your gun to the temple, and firing. I remember the image so vividly, her blood splattering all over the wall. In the same motion, you're shoving her out of my way. So I keep running out the door. You're gone elsewhere before the woman even hits the ground. Of course, it's horrible, it's horrendous. But later, when I'm trying to process it, I am just in awe of you. What you did. I totally get why you were so ruthless like that. By this point, you have watched these guys take me down, Max. Several times. You're not murdering these people in cold blood, you're surviving. You're saving us. Without a problem, I can imagine the mind space you were in. I only wish I could protect you the same way. None of that matters in the moment, though. It's all pure adrenaline, just doing what you gotta do. So when I clear the door and turn left, I raise the gun you gave me in both hands and shoot the man full of bullets. At the exact same time, there's another struggle right behind me, but I can't afford to look back. It's you, of course, taking care of the fourth member of their squad. I jump over the guy and over the rail, duck into the alley and keep running. With all the glass and debris all over the place, my feet would be completely wrecked by now without the shoes. I don't know this at the time, but another squad of 4 is spreading out, covering every possible escape route. You've already dealt with the other 3 by the time you show up. Behind the goon, I couldn't even see straight ahead. One last shot goes off. The man goes down. You stand there for a moment, looking at me with glassy eyes. You're a hell of a sight to see. Bloody and spent beyond words. As you get close, I can already see you sag and stagger, and I close the distance before you collapse altogether. I'm the one now that's heaving, calling your name, but you don't respond. For a moment, it's the absolute worst feeling in the world, thinking you might be dead or dying. You're just this lump in my arm as I lie you down against the dumpster. But you're breathing, and there's a pulse, which makes me desperate to stop the bleeding. But we first have to run and hide far away from here. You're not even remotely conscious. Where the hell can I take you? We're running from a firefight. There'll be sirens and cops soon, self-defense or not. We killed those people. And the motel's front counter will have our description. I've seen enough movies to know that taking you to the hospital is the same as sending us to prison. I'm looking at you pretty much freaking out inside my head. I'm this close to a screaming fit, but your life is in my hands now. I get it right there. This is what you feel when you see me hurt. This feeling is why you put yourself through hell to save me. Time and time again. Everything else goes away, and that's all that matters. I have to keep you safe. I noticed you bothered to take your bag. It occurred to me that you're a real smart girl, so I start searching it, and your pockets too. Sure enough, I find our phones, our charger, our wallets, the rest of our money. Basically anything that can be used to identify us, along with car keys I've never seen before. I stare at them trying to piece things together. I have to assume you got the keys from the same people that you got our guns. There was at least 5 of them, and they want you alive, so there has to be a van or truck somewhere. And since it's a snatch operation, it's gotta be discreet and unmarked and out of sight from our room. But it's pretty close because they need to take 2 bodies to it when they're done. Best place I can think of. Straight ahead, around the corner of this alley. So I take off running again. There's only one van up the whole street. I run to it, jam the key in the lock, and thank God it opens up. I didn't even consider that there might be someone guarding it, but there wasn't, so it's all good. There was a lot of gear in the back and plenty of room for you. And there's totally going to be medical supplies because these people are bound to get hurt on the job and they need to be prepared for that, right? It's so fucking perfect. I hurry back to you as fast as I can, and I need to get you in there and get the fuck out ASAP. I try to lift you up in my arms like any superhero would, and I fail miserably. Have you ever tried to carry someone that's not helping at all? It's way harder than it looks in the movies. You might be tiny in skin and bones, but there's still 100 pounds of dead weight on the floor. I wasn't exactly buff at the time. I honestly have no idea how I managed to haul you up into my back. It must have been all the adrenaline and sheer desperation. It sure as hell wasn't dignified for both of us. I lay you down in the van as careful as I can and get behind the wheel. It's only after that I get the engine going and the tires rolling that I see the driver dead on the street. So yeah, I definitely thought that far ahead. We're in the outskirts of the city proper, and I don't know where I'm going, so it's just a matter of driving elsewhere for now to keep us out of sight. Sirens are going off in the distance already, getting closer. I want to tear through the pavement and run every red light, but I manage to calm myself enough to drive slow and careful. Speed limits and turn signals and everything else. Finally, I park in some back street in the suburbs, maybe a mile away from Ground Zero, and I have to take care of you. You're lying there a complete mess, and I remember thinking for the moment, God, she's just 18. We're just teenagers. You look so frail and small. Just this girl passed out in a van. I get to work looking for a med kit, which was easy enough to find. There's a whole footlocker of bandages, painkillers, water bottles, disinfectant, sewing kits, and even a small suitcase of surgical tools. I try not to think much, just focus on cleaning you and see what the actual damage is. It's not how I'd fantasize peeling off your clothes for the first time. There are cuts and bruises, and you bit your tongue at some point. But the only truly awful thing is your arm. Can I tell you how very unfun it was to take out the glass shard and stitch up your shoulder with just a fucking Google search for guidance? I have no idea what I was doing. I just knew I had to do it, and fuck, I get the shudders just thinking about it. It's an ugly scar, and it's totally all my fault. It's a miracle it didn't get infected. No way, that's a load of crap. They came for you, Max. You didn't ask for any of it. You did what you had to do. Think you didn't feel like shit afterwards? It messed you up, fucking 1,000-yard stairs for days. You knew you had no choice, but you still beat yourself up. Like you suddenly became a serial killer. Sometimes good people have to do terrible things to survive. There's nothing more to it. There's a good reason I'm telling you all this in so many details. I understood a few things that day, as I nursed you back to living, and I want you to understand them too. 1, you are going to keep me safe, even if it kills you, and there isn't much I can do about it. I don't think you can help yourself. If you thought I had a hero worship problem before, there is nothing compared to it now. I am your #1 fangirl. 2, I am a liability when shit goes down. I'm a fucking damsel in distress. If I want to be a worthy sidekick, I'll need actual skills. But even if I become some kind of badass, your best chance to survive will always be to not have me near. You can say whatever you want, but it's the truth. It would have been a cakewalk for you to escape if I hadn't been there. And 3, running away is not always good. We have to fight back. We have to get rid of Sean Prescott. You see this pretty clearly by now, right? I know. You don't want to kill anybody. We have to do something about him. Something drastic. He's not going to leave us alone, Max. And it's not all about us either. You beat yourself up all the time about misusing your powers. Can you imagine if they were in the hands of someone like him? We can't let that happen. Man, I've been talking for almost an hour, and we're only 5 days in. Things should go faster from here on out. At least until... What? What's wrong? Yes, you doofus. My epic tale of survival and heroism can wait for a pee break. It's the tiny door over there to the left. It slides open. Don't fart too hard if you gotta. The wall's paper thin. I'm not being gross. We've lived together in an RV, girl. All the glamour goes out the window the moment either of us need to take a dump. And with that wonderful, romantic image, I leave you. You're welcome.
thinking